Hello, gents. Have you ever found yourself wondering why certain individuals seem to harbor dislike towards someone without any clear reason? They might not even have a deep acquaintance with the person, yet there's just something about their presence that irks them. This phenomenon isn't uncommon, especially when it comes to Sigma males. Despite their tendency to mind their own business and not cause trouble for others, they can still find themselves facing unjustified criticism and animosity from people who simply don't comprehend them. Here we'll explore 9 absurd reasons why some individuals harbor disdain towards Sigma males. Please like, share, and subscribe. Your support means a lot to us and our existing subscribers. You are the MVP. Let's get started. Number 1. They exhibit behaviors that are erratic and challenging to manage. They display behaviors that are unpredictable and difficult to handle. Lots of folks don't appreciate when they can't understand someone or foresee what they'll do next. This is especially true with Sigma males who don't conform to usual patterns. They march to their own beat, which makes them quite a puzzle for those who prefer everything and everyone to be straightforward and predictable. This unpredictability can unsettle some folks, as it throws off their expectations in social settings or relationships. Many people prefer dealing with those whose actions are easy to anticipate because it gives them a sense of control and security. When they encounter someone who is hard to pin down or control, it can be frustrating or even intimidating. Instead of admiring their freedom and independence, some end up disliking them simply because they can't easily influence them. This reason for disliking someone might seem absurd, but it's surprisingly common. It highlights how much some prioritize predictability over individuality, even when the latter doesn't harm anyone. It's strange to dislike someone for this reason, but it happens more often than you might expect. Number 2. They aren't swayed by titles or status, a trait that is frequently interpreted as disrespectful. It's amusing how some folks can get all worked up when they encounter someone who isn't impressed by fancy titles or high-ranking job positions. This often occurs with Sigma males, who simply view everyone as equal, regardless of their title. They believe in treating everyone with the same level of respect, whether they're the CEO or the janitor. However, this can irk some individuals, particularly those who've worked hard for their status symbols and expect a certain level of acknowledgement or admiration. When Sigma males don't fawn over someone's achievements or title, it's often seen as rude or disrespectful. It's a bit of a stretch to label someone as disrespectful just because they don't make a big fuss over titles. They're not trying to be unkind or diminish anyone's accomplishments. They just don't view titles as the most important aspect of a person. It's peculiar to be disliked for something like that, but it underscores how some people place a significant emphasis on status and anticipate others to do the same. Sometimes what truly matters is how we treat each other, not the titles we hold. Number 3. They consistently speak the truth, even in uncomfortable situations. They consistently tell it like it is, even in uncomfortable situations. Honesty is something everyone claims they value, but not everyone can handle, especially when it comes from someone who doesn't hold back. That's the deal with Sigma males. They're not afraid to speak their mind, even if it's not what people want to hear. This straightforward approach can rub some folks the wrong way. Imagine you're in a group where everyone's nodding along just to keep things peaceful. But then there's that one person who points out the obvious truth. It's refreshing for some, but for others, it's just awkward. People often prefer comfort over truth, and when faced with harsh realities, they might feel exposed or embarrassed. This discomfort can lead to negative reactions, sometimes even directing anger towards the messenger rather than the message itself. It's easier to dislike someone for being honest than to confront the truths they're bringing to light. This often results in misunderstanding their intentions, painting them as blunt or insensitive when they're simply committed to being genuine. It's a strange world where honesty can make you less popular, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Number 4. They prioritize logic over emotions, a stance that may appear detached to certain individuals. In the minds of many, displaying emotions is closely associated with warmth and human connection. When someone consistently prioritizes logic over feelings, they may come across as distant or aloof. This is why some individuals find it challenging to connect with Sigma males who lean towards logic. These men carefully assess situations, relying on facts and evidence before making decisions or forming opinions. While this approach is pragmatic and often leads to sound judgments, it can make personal interactions feel less intimate. For example, in a scenario where most would offer comfort, these logical thinkers might propose solutions instead. It's not that they lack empathy or careless. Their way of showing concern is simply different. They believe in addressing the root cause of the problem rather than just providing emotional support. However, this can be misconstrued as insensitivity or a lack of compassion. This misunderstanding leads some people not to appreciate their logical perspective, instead viewing them with skepticism or even aversion. Number 5. On our list. They don't readily accept things on the surface. They delve deeper for understanding. Sigma males always delve deeper, seeking to understand the underlying reasons behind everything. Their habit of questioning, rather than accepting things at face value, can be perceived as doubting or mistrusting others. Many individuals aren't accustomed to being scrutinized. They expect their words to be taken as truth without further inquiry. When Sigma males start probing, it may make some feel as though their integrity is being questioned. Ironically, this quality should be admired. It demonstrates a sharp mind and a genuine thirst for understanding rather than superficial knowledge. However, it often becomes another reason for dislike. Some may interpret this trait as cynicism or excessive skepticism when, in reality, Sigma males are naturally curious and value authenticity. Their inclination to look beyond the surface can unsettle those who are content with superficial appearances or those who may have something to conceal. In a world where accepting things at face value is often the norm, their refusal to do so without question sets them apart. Unfortunately, this difference isn't always welcomed with open arms. Before proceeding further, please take a moment to hit like and subscribe to the Gents Grove community. Your support means the world to us. Now, let's move on to our next point. Number 6. Their refusal to conform to traditional rules can make others feel uneasy. These individuals opt to live by their own set of principles and often disregard societal expectations that seem illogical to them. This can unsettle people around them because most individuals are accustomed to following a particular order or way of doing things. When someone boldly steps outside these norms, it can be jarring or even threatening to the status quo. They're unafraid to question why things are done a certain way, and they're not interested in following a path simply because it's well trodden. This independence and confidence in charting their own course can be viewed negatively by those who prefer conformity. People might perceive them as rebels without a cause, or as individuals who think they're superior because they don't adhere to the same rules as everyone else. In reality, they're simply unwilling to compromise their values or individuality for the sake of fitting in. This misunderstanding is one of the many reasons why they might face dislike, even though their intentions are to live authentically and not to make others uncomfortable. It's odd, but sometimes people just don't like those who don't conform, even if they're not causing any harm. It can remind them of their own insecurities or fears. Number 7. They are unapologetically discerning when it comes to admitting individuals into their inner circle. They're very selective about who they allow into their inner circle, and they don't apologize for it. Being particular about who they hang out with or consider close friends can leave some people feeling excluded or inadequate. It's like being picked last in gym class. It stings. Sigma males simply want to surround themselves with people who truly understand them and share similar vibes. This isn't a negative thing, but to others, it might seem snobbish or like they think they're superior. They're just seeking genuine connections rather than superficial relationships. However, this trait can rub some people the wrong way, especially if they've attempted to get close and were met with a distant attitude. Instead of seeing it as a choice for deeper connections, they perceive it as a personal rejection. This can lead to hurt feelings and misunderstandings, causing others to quickly label them as unfriendly or arrogant. In reality, they're just cautious about who they let into their inner circle. It's strange to dislike someone for being careful with their friendships, but it illustrates how people can misinterpret things sometimes. Number 9. Their inclination to minimize unnecessary conversation might be perceived as secretive. Some individuals find it unsettling when others prefer solitude over engaging in every conversation. This is particularly common with Sigma males, who carefully select their words and don't feel compelled to fill every silence with chatter. They're often perceived as mysterious or even secretive, which, oddly enough, leads some people to dislike them. It's strange to think that not being talkative all the time could be viewed negatively. However, for those who are more outgoing, it might seem like these reserved individuals are hiding something or aren't interested in forming connections. But in reality, these men simply believe in speaking when they have something meaningful to contribute, rather than talking for the sake of it. They prioritize actions over words and prefer to express themselves through their deeds. Nevertheless, their quiet demeanor can be misconstrued as standoffish or secretive behavior, making them susceptible to misunderstandings. It's peculiar to hate someone for their communication style, especially considering that everyone has their unique way of connecting with others. Number 8. They strongly oppose authority figures who demand unquestioning obedience without providing evidence or justification. Because they value independence and regularly question authority, Sigma males often clash with those who demand unquestioning loyalty without providing evidence or justification. They simply cannot go along with things they don't believe in or follow orders that don't make sense to them. This trait can irk those in positions of power, leading to tension and misunderstanding. It's absurd how some people are quick to dislike these men simply because they ask for proof or justification before obeying an order. It's like questioning the status quo automatically brands them as rebels or troublemakers. However, Sigma males are just exercising critical thinking and ensuring their actions align with their values and logic. Yet, in a world where conformity is often the easiest path, their stance against unproven authority can label them as difficult or antagonistic. This hatred stems from a preference for compliance over questioning, which is a peculiar reason to discredit someone. It highlights how society sometimes values obedience over understanding, resulting in misguided resentments against those who dare to think differently. As someone once said, "It's easy to hate what we don't understand," and unfortunately, Sigma males often fall into that category. Thank you, gents, for watching. Stay safe.